Today topic is stack trace element. So stack trace element is the class. It is present inside the java dot language package, java.lang package. So how we declaring this class means public is the access specifier, final is the keyword. So if we use the keyword final means this class will be the final. Okay, we can't create another class in the same name of the class name stack trace element. So stack trace element is the class name. It extends from the object and implements the serializable interface. When we are seeing the keyword implements means we can understand it is a interface. So serializable is the interface. Okay. So class like this we are declaring the class stack trace element. Class constructor. So stack trace element is the class. By the name of class name we are creating the constructor. This constructor having the following parameters. First one is declaring class. Next parameter is method name. Next parameter is file name. Next parameter is line number. So declaring class is the parameter. We are taking this parameter in the data type of string. So here string is the data type. Method name is the parameter. String is the data type. File name is the parameter. Int is the data type, line number is the parameter. We are passing these 4 parameters to the stack trace elements. So why I am telling this is the constructor means the constructor name same as the class name. So stack trace element is the class name and the constructor name also stack trace element. So it is known as constructor. Next we will go to see about the methods present inside the stack trace element. Okay. So in the upcoming chapters we will go to see about the what are all the packages available, what are all the classes available in the particular packages, what are all the methods available in the packages. Like that only we will go to discuss it. Previously we have discussed about the exception class and exceptions methods. Okay, so next in the second unit we have discussed about the object class and what are all the methods available in the object class. So like that today topic is stack trace element class. What are all the methods constructors available in the stack trace element? So methods are boolean equal. Boolean is the data type. So this data type is supported for the true or false value. It will go to check the conditions. If the condition is true means it will pass the true value. Otherwise it will returns the false value. Okay, boolean method name is equal. Method name is equal. For this method we are passing the parameter obj. Obj is the instance object. So it is present inside the class object. Okay. So what is the purpose of this method means this method returns true. This method returns true if the specified object is another stack trace element instance. Instance also object. Okay. So if the specified object is another stack trace element instance means it will return the value true. So string get the class name. Next method is you have to keep in your mind or you have to remember the method's name only. By the name you can explain what this method will do. Okay. So string is the data type, method type. Okay. So string means this method will return value. Okay. If we use the method type as void means it will not return any value at the end of the program. If we use the method type as string, int or boolean means it will return some value at the end of the method. Okay. So string is the method type. It will return. This method returns the fully qualified name of the class containing the execution point represented by this stack trace element. So stack trace element is the class. It is fully supported for the stack operations, stack based methods. Okay, stack based methods. So class containing the execution point represented by the stack trace elements. Fully qualified name of the class. So get class name. Get class name is the method. It returns the fully qualified name of the class. Class name. It returns the class name. That class name containing the execution point represented by the stack trace element. So next method we will go to see is string get file name. Get file name. Okay. So by the name you can explain it. Get file name is the method. So this method returns the name of the source file. Okay. You can easily keep in your mind. You can easily remember to the point. If you know the method name means you can explain the method about the method easily. Get file name is the method. So this method is used to get the name of the file. Okay. Returns the name of the source file containing the execution point represented by the stack trace element. Okay. Stack trace element is the class. So used to execution point represented by the stack trace element. The next method is integer. Method type is integer. Method type is integer. Method name is get line number. Get line number. So this is the without argument. Why I am telling this is the without argument means within the open bracket and closed bracket we don't have any values or variables or parameters or arguments. Both these all are same. See, within the open bracket and closed bracket we don't have any value, any variables, any parameters, any arguments we don't have. So this is the method without any arguments. If maybe within the bracket, open bracket and closed bracket, if I am having int a, means this is the method with argument. Okay, this is the known as method with argument. Why this is with argument means within the open bracket and closed bracket I am having one variable, that is one parameter, one argument. That variable or that parameter argument name is a. This variable belongs to the data type integer. Okay, so this is known as method with argument. Method without arguments means within the open bracket and closed bracket we don't have any arguments. So that is known as without argument. Okay. So what is the function of get line number method means this method returns. So you should use the keyword returns. Okay. Because we are using the method type as integer. So integer means it will return value. If the method type is void, void means it will not return. Okay, it will not return any value at the end of the function. So this method returns the line number of the source line containing the execution point represented by the stack trace element. Okay, so the stack trace element represented the execution point of stack. Okay. Next method is string get method name. So string method type is string. So it will return. This method returns. What it will go to return? Get method name. Method name is get method name. So name of the method. Okay, name of the method. This method returns the name of the method containing the execution point represented by the stack trace element. So our next method is int hash code. So this method returns a hash code. Hash code is the integer value. Okay, value for this stack trace element. So it will return the integer value. Next method type is boolean. So it will return the value, return true or value. This method returns true or value if the method containing the execution point represented by the stack trace element is native method. Okay, native method. So native means like a parent method. Okay, like a parent. From that native method we can derive the sub methods. String to string. So string is the method type, to string is the method name. It will convert it returns the string. This method returns the string representation of these stack trace elements. So these are all the methods inherited from the following class. Class is object. Okay. So So our method, these are all the methods present inside the stack trace element class. This class inherits from the java.language object. Okay, this is the superclass. Java, we already discussed object is the superclass. Object is the superclass. So java.language.object is the superclass. From this class, we are deriving the, we are inheriting the classes. Inheriting the class means stack trace element. We are inheriting the class stack trace element class. This class contains the following methods. Okay, these are all the methods present inside the class stack trace element. So, okay, our next topic is Java input output. Java input output is the remaining part of the third unit. First, the part of the third unit is over. First part of the third unit is fully based on the exceptions. Okay, so next, Java input and output. Java brings various streams. Streams means sequence of input with its input output package that helps the user to perform all the input output operation. See, these streams support all the type of objects, data types, characters, files. So these are all the inputs or outputs. Inputs we can take, outputs we can provide by using the Java input output package. Here also we will go to see about what are all the packages, what are all the classes, what are all the methods available. Okay, so source. This is our source program, application source program. So by using the input stream, that is read operation, by using the read operation, we are getting the input stream to the Java application program. After executing or compiling our application program, we are getting the output stream or write operations in the destination. That is, destination means screen, display screen. Maybe source is the keyboard. Okay, by using the source, by using the keyboard, we can give the input to the Java application program. That is the operations that known as read operation. We are having two operations, read operation, write operation. Okay, when we are getting the input from the source, maybe keyboard, that is known as read operations. When we are printing the output on the display screen, that operation known as write operations. Okay. System dot, we are having three standard or default streams. System dot in. By using system dot in, we are getting the input from the keyboard to our program. Okay. After executing our program, by the use of display monitor screening, we are getting the output using the statement system dot out. You know very well, system is the class, in, out, ERR are the objects present inside the system class. And we are having another one, standard input, standard error, system dot error. System is the class, ERR is the object. Okay, it's used to display if any error occurs in our application program, means it will display the error and on the screen. Okay, so by using our keyboard, we are getting the input to our application program by using the statement system dot in. Using the statement system dot out, we will get the output on our screen. Using system dot err, error statement, we will get the error list on our display screen. So standard input output streams in Java. Okay, see, system dot in over, system dot out over. Okay, system dot out again contain some are methods, print method, println method, printf method. Okay, so print method, print open bracket close bracket, this is known as method. This method in Java is used to display a text on the console on our output screen. Okay, simply you can tell print is the method name used to display the output on the screen, our print screen, on the output screen. Console means in the command prompt. In the command prompt, we are getting the output. This text is passed as the parameter to this method in the form of string. So this method is display the parameter in the form of string. This method prints the text on the console and the cursor remains at the end of the text at the console. Okay. The next printing takes place from the just here. Let's see. See the example. Java code to illustrate print method. So no need to study everything. You just understand. Using print system dot out dot print is the method is used to display the statement which is present inside the double quotation on the screen. So within the double quotation we are having the statement G of G exclamatory symbol. So G of G. Okay. So print we are using the statement print so that the cursor will be here only. Okay, while running our application program in the command prompt, the cursor will be in this position only. So next statement using system.out.print, we will go to display the string GFC exclamatory symbol. So it will be print in the same line, okay. Next we are having the statement G of G. So next again the cursor will be in the same line only, If we use the print statement means, method means the cursor will be after printing the output, the cursor will be remain or same in that particular line only. Okay. So next print ln. If we use the println method means, here see we are using the println. These three lines enough. Okay, these three lines enough. No need to study everything. Then by using system.out.println, within the double quotation we are having the statement GFC exclamatory symbol. So here we are using the println. Okay, so output will be print on our output screen. The cursor here, the cursor, if you use the println method means this cursor will to move to the next line. Okay, so our output, next output will be print on the next line. Okay, so again we are using the println method. So this method will be displayed in the next line, line by line our output will be displayed. If we use the print method means, the cursor will not go to the next line. The cursor will be remain on the same line after printing the output. To print the next output, it will be print the output on the same line. If we use the print method means. Otherwise, if we use the println method means, the cursor will be moved to the next line to print the next output. Okay. If we after print the first output, the cursor will be moved to the next line to print the next output. Again, after printing the second output, the cursor will be moved to the third line to print the third output. If we use the println method means, okay, the cursor will be moved to the next line. So next method is printf method. Printf method is like in C. While using the C program, printf method we used the same procedure for the same purpose only we are using the printf method in Java. The printf may take multiple arguments. Okay. All of the methods, the printf, see this is the easiest of all method as this is similar to printf in C. If you know C language means in C we will use the printf. So the same purpose, for the same purpose only we are using the printf statement in Java may take multiple arguments. Okay. Okay, I will see the example system.out.printf of printing symbol within the double quotation. This argument also will be print, and again within the double quotation we are having the another argument. This argument will also print. Okay, see the output, multiple arguments it will print in the same line. See printf, we are using the statement printf. System dot statement means we are using the method printf. Method system dot out dot printf. Printf is the method we are using. Within the double quotation we are having formatted to. The next, this is one argument. Next we are having another argument after plus operator. Another argument, right margin n is equal to modulus to 0.4 a floating point slash n. So these are all the arguments. The multiple arguments it will print in the same line. So printing simple integer, printing this next one. What is right margin? See formatted to, output is formatted to. Next right margin n. Right margin n is equal to, this is the calculation. It calculates modulus 20.4 f. So slash n. Slash n is used to next line. The cursor will go to next line. Okay. Here the slash n is used to move the cursor to the next line. So simply keep in your mind, printf is the method is used to print the multiple arguments. Okay. System dot err. Here system is the class, err is the object. So this is the standard error stream that is used to output all the error data that a program might throw on a computer screen or any standard output device. This also have three functions: print, println, printf. We will see the error throws using throws keyword. It will throw the input any exceptions on the output screen. Okay. Input stream reader is the class to read input. Input stream reader is class. Object is inp. System dot out dot println is used to print the enter character statement. So enter characters and 0 to quit. It will go to enter the characters. Class name is simple input output. So these two lines enough. Public static void main strings arguments throws IO exceptions. Okay. Without using try block, catch blocks, throws is the keyword is used to throw the exceptions. What are all the exceptions present in our application program? It will be thrown on our output screen. Okay. Next topic is types of streams. Types of stream. Depending on the type of operations, streams can be divided into two primary classes. First one is input stream. Next output stream. Output stream. So see the diagram. Input streams. Stream means sequence of data. Okay. Read data must be taken as an input from source array or file or any peripheral device. The input may be taken from input device or source array or file or any peripheral device. We can take the input, read the data, used to read the data. Input stream. These streams, these are all the classes. Okay, streams are used to read data that must be taken as input. So for example, file input stream, buffered input stream, byte array input stream. So file input streams is used to get the file data. Buffered input stream means it get the input data, and buffering means flushing. Okay. Buffered means it is used to temporary storage. It is stored the input data and flushing the input data immediate after completing the program. Byte array input stream, this class used to get the input in the array format. Okay, see this flow chart. File input stream, these are all the streams. Input streams contains the following classes: file input stream, byte array input stream, piped input stream, object input stream. The piped also used to store the input in the format of piped format. Okay, object input stream. So input stream, it's divided into data input stream, filter input stream, buffer input stream. So these are all the input comes under the pushback input stream. So these are all the various input streams is used to get the input. For output streams, the same classes name only, but for instead of input we use the output. Okay, so very easily you can understand and you can easily keep in your mind output streams. So output stream classes are, so is used to display the output. Okay, display the output on the output device. File output stream, byte array means for array output operations, file means for file output file data. A piped means the data stored in the piped means it will displayed by using the piped. Okay, piped format out data will be output. Object output stream means this class is used to display the output, object output. Okay, next data means it will read the data, any data type, data output stream. It will display the data, any data on our output stream. A filter output stream means used to filter the output. A buffered output stream means it store the output and immediately it flushing the output. Okay, buffered means temporary storage. For temporary storage only we are using the buffered storage area. So like that, piped also storage area, file also storage area. In the file storage area we store the files. In the byte array storage area we store the array data. Okay, so these are all comes under the pushback output stream. See, depending on the type of files, streams depending on the type of files. If the type of files input means file means it is comes under the file output stream. If the input or output is data means it will comes under the data output stream. Okay, if the data is array means it will comes under the byte array output or byte array input stream. Depending on the type of file, streams can be divided into two primary classes, which can be further divided into other classes, can be seen through the diagram. So this diagram represent the type of files. Depending on the type of files, the streams can be divided into these are all the types. Okay, primary classes. 4 primary classes we are having. That primary classes further divided into other classes. See, stream classes and description. These are all the classes. Buffered input stream. So it is used in the descriptions. Easily you can keep in your mind. By the class name only the descriptions will be available. Okay, so buffered input stream is the class. It is used for buffered input stream. Okay, data input stream is the class. It contains method for reading Java standard data types. So you know very well the Java standard data types, integer data type, string data type, float data types. Data input stream is the class. It contains method for reading Java standard data types. File input stream, this is used to read from file. So input stream, this is an abstract class that describes stream input. A print stream, this contains the most used println method. Print stream, this contains the most used print and println method. Next, buffered output stream, this is used for buffered output stream. So by the name you can easily describe the class name. Okay, so data output stream in this contain method for writing Java standard data, so it is used for data types. File means it's used to write files. So when we are using the name output stream, it is used for the write operation. When we are using the input, it is used for the read operation. Okay, so read operations comes under the input stream, write operations comes under the output stream. Okay, so these are all the classes. You see the flow chart, you can easily keep in your mind. So when pictures are easily storable in your mind than the text. So streams, so byte stream, character stream, two types of streams. Byte streams classes are buffered input stream, data input stream. So these are all the classes comes under the byte stream. In the character streams is used to read the data character by character. You know very well, character means single character. See, A, B, C, D. A is the character. So character streams is used to read the or write the characters. Okay, byte streams used to read and write the bytes. You know very well, one byte is 8-bit. So it read and write the data in the 8-bit format. Okay, so byte stream, 1 byte is equal to 8-bit. So it will these byte streams used to read and write the data in the bit format, 8-bit format. So character streams is the class is used to read and write the data in the character format. So buffer reader, file reader, reader, writer, these are all the classes comes under the character stream class. So these are all the classes comes under the byte stream classes. Byte stream, this is used to process data byte by byte, 8 bits. Okay, so here you have to study the file input stream class. File input stream is the class. It have the object source stream is equal to null. Next, file output stream is used to display the file on the output screen. So that object name is target stream is equal to null. These are the try, catch, try block, finally block. These will comes under the exceptions topic. Okay, see here, source stream is the object is equal to new is the keyword is used to allocate the memory allocation for the object. New file input stream is the class. File input stream is the class is used to read the source file .txt. So source file .txt should be present in our laptop. While compiling and running this application program, this source file .txt, this is the text file. Okay, source file .txt. Maybe merci.txt means the merci.txt file should be present in this laptop. Then only it will open or read the file while running our Java program. Okay, if that particular file is not present in this PC means it will display that particular file is not present in the laptop. Like that it will shows the error. So this is your maybe 8th exercise or 9th exercise. That's why I am telling again and again you watch the lab videos. Okay, so that you can easily understand the theory class also. So totally now you have to clear the topic or the concept is file output stream or file input stream is used to read the file. File output stream is class is used to display the file on our output screen. Okay, that file name is source file. It will go to read. Target file will go to display on our output screen. So reading file, a writing file. Okay, these are all the operations comes under the file input stream and file output stream. Read operations comes under the file input stream. Write operations comes under the file output stream class. Okay. So character stream. Next topic is character stream. till now we character stream. So in Java, characters are stored using Unicode conventions. Okay, so Unicode I have described you. Universal code. Okay, Unicode means universal code. Universal code for the whole languages. So American ASCII code is expand for the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So that is the code interchange for only for the English language. So Unicode means it will common to all languages. Okay, so it will decrypt encryption process. Unicode ASCII codes are used for the encryption and decryption process. So computer knows zeros and ones only. So our input characters or input strings will converted into the machine's code. For that purpose, we are using the Unicode translation and ASCII code translation. Unicode means universal code translation. Okay. Okay. So character streams automatically allows us to read and write data character by character. You keep in your mind, character stream means it used to read and write data character by character. Okay. Okay. So stream classes, here also we are having stream classes. Before we have discussed the classes comes under the byte stream. Okay. So now we will go to discuss about the classes comes under the character stream. Character stream. So buffer reader, it used to handle buffer input stream. File reader, then input stream that read from file. Input stream, output stream reader, print writer. Writer means writing process. Output. Okay, print writer is used to output process. This contains the most used print method, println method. Writer, buffer writer, file writer. Buffer is used to temporary storage. For this temporary storage. Okay, file. Now the example for file reader and file writer example. So no need to study, no need to write. These are all things. You comes to the point file reader. Okay, file reader is the class. We will go to create one object. Source stream is the object we are creating. So initially the source stream is null. Initially we are declaring null value to the source stream. After that we are getting test.txt file to the source stream object. Okay, by using the file reader class. Using the file reader class or file reader constructor, we are getting the input test.txt. Test.txt. This is the text file present which is present in our PC. Test.txt. We are reading by using the file reader constructor or class. That particular file will go to assign to the source stream object. Initially the source stream object is assigned to the null. Initially it is empty. Okay. Okay. So by using the file reader, we are reading the content of test.txt to source stream object. Next, by using the writer, where is the writer? Reading source file, writing content to target file. Read temp source stream dot close. So file reader is used to read a character integer temp. We are assigning the variable temp to integer data type. Source stream dot read. We are reading only. Okay, by using the println, we are printing. Okay, using the println method, we are printing the character which is present inside the temp file. Okay, what are all the characters present inside the temp file? We are using println method. We are printing. Next, we are closing stream by using the source stream dot close. Okay, close method. By using the close method, we are closing the source stream file. Okay, thank you, students.